Every single person in this entire world is chasing the same thing. We're all chasing a feeling, happiness. I feel pretty safe to say that everyone else would agree with that too. Pretty sure no one's like, you know what? I want to be miserable today. I just want to be miserable for the next 5 years of my life. So why is it that so many of us are not happy with our lives? Why are we not satisfied with what we have right now? What I can tell you is that there's psychological proof that nothing from the outside world can ever give you lasting happiness. Not money, not a nice car, not a million friends, not even the perfect relationship is ever going to give you lasting happiness. The term that psychologists use to describe this is called hedonic adaptation, which pretty much means that no matter what you get in your life, your happiness level is always going to come back down to where it originally was. So that doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If something bad happens, then it's going to go down and then it's going to come back up. And if something good happens, it's going to come back down to that original level. Alright, so let's look deeper into this. Hedonic adaptation, why we don't stay happier. Props to Dr. Russell James III. Okay, so pretty much what I said before, your happiness is always going to go back to an original level. And here's an example in marriage where it peaks right when people get married, and then it goes back down to pretty much the same level. Maybe it's a little bit happier, but not that much more. And the same goes for a negative event like widowhood. Right after the event, it started going back up, but right during that event is when it was at its lowest. But you can clearly tell that it went back to an original level after time. Being fired. Alright, this is something that I think is huge. They interviewed a lot of lottery winners, and most people were not only the same level of happiness as other people that had not won the lottery before, some of them were actually less happy. So that's something you really have to think about if you think money is going to make you happy. And this is pretty big because the more you start consuming, the more you buy things, the more it's going to take over your life, because then you have like a higher level of like, oh, I have this now, I can't go back to what I used to have, even though it's really not making you that much happier. So then you're pretty much just screwing yourself over, if that makes sense. At this point, you're probably wondering, well, alright, where does real happiness come from then? Real happiness has to come from inside you. And I'm going to give you exercises that you can do to basically reverse the process of hedonic adaptation. So you don't always go back to that same level. You actually, that line that you always come back to actually gets higher. The first exercise I'm going to give you today is probably the most simple one. And it's simply just getting a notebook and every week, just once a week, writing down 5 things you appreciate in your life right now. And when you write it down, I want you to number it, and also don't just say what you appreciate, but say why you appreciate it. For example, you could just write down something as simple as, I appreciate my car because it allows me to go see my friends when I otherwise wouldn't be able to. I don't want you to underestimate the power of this, because this can completely change you, especially if you have depression or you're just going through a bad time in your life. It basically rewires your brain to see the good things, to see the positive things in your life, and not take it for granted. So after you do this consistently for like maybe a month, you'll notice a difference. Like, you'll start seeing the things in your life that you before took for granted, and you're gonna be happier no matter where you are in your life right now. So that's all I have for you today, but I'm also going to post a song or video that motivates me, and a song or video that makes me feel good on every video that I make. So in the description, just look for it. I'm also going to give you directions on how to do certain exercises, because I'm going to have a lot more in the future ones.